Hello everyone, my name is Akshit and I introduce you to my legal lens. It's my latest product. It uses a RAG which is based on the IT Act 2000, and you can ask it all sorts of questions from this act, and these are some examples, and I'll just send a random one and we'll see the output, and I'll just show you this act. So this is the Information and Technology Act, and it's so it's built in this very structured manner, so it's easy to extract all this information in section wise using regex. And there's one value for this section name, and this another value for this section text, and then another value for chapter, which chapter the section belongs to. And I've used regex for that, and it's saved in this manner. So first you have chapter and section and text, and then questions, and I'll go to the questions later. So first let's see the output of our query. So I just asked that the punishment for identity theft, and it just say that it's gonna to be up to 3 years and shall be liable for a fine which may extend to rupees 1 lakh. So how it's doing all this? So firstly, what I've done is I've used this question generator, which is using the same model. You can see it's the same model, but what it does is based on this huge prompt where I've given all sorts of instruction like what to do, what not to do, do not add repetitive rephrases or stuff like that. So what it's doing, it's reading the section and text, and based on that, it's generating all sorts of possible questions that the user may ask. And I'm doing this for the sake of higher embedding similarity so that I can get the right section out. That's one of the stuff because I'm using only 1 billion parameter model. It's Gemma 3. So I wanted, because my laptop does not support a higher model, so I had to use it. So I had to do all sorts of stuff to make it more accurate, and that you can call that to make it grounded. And I'm also using the query expander. It's just using the same model. And what it's doing is it's going to take your query and it's going to expand it, adding good keywords, and here are all these examples that it gets. And based on all this stuff, and there are also casual responses. So if, user asks thanks, so I don't need to run model. So you can just have a ready-made response. It saves time and it's efficient. And I'm using embedding Gemma for the embedding similarity. It's 300 million parameters model, and this is 1 billion parameter model. So it's pretty small, not that good, but it just works pretty right for this job. So let's just ask you more questions. So let me ask which section is applicable to breach in privacy. So you can ask all sorts of questions. It just has this whole brain, which is the IT Act. So if it's in there, it's going to do pretty good. And what I'm also doing is, if I'm asking something not related to IT stuff, it's going to give this warning, and it's not going to use this prompt because this is for the IT stuff. And I'm doing this by checking the similarity score. If similarity score is below this threshold, then I'm going to fall back to this general model response. It doesn't have a system prompt, right? So it just responds based on its own understanding, does not use the RAG that I've built over here. And if I'm asking, let's just see the output of it. Yeah, so as you can see, the section applicable to breach in privacy is 72. So you can see penalty for the breach in confidentiality and privacy. And that's how this works. And if I ask it straight up, like explain section 27, it's going to go straight to the thinking. And I'm just using this uh, section extractor. So if my query contains anything like section 27, section whatever, so it's going to take it out straight from that, and we are going to compare it with this section. And I'm just going to take out this section number, and I'm just going to iterate over it, and I'll find the match, like section ID is equal to which section number, and it's just going to take all this stuff. So if the match is about 66, then it's going to take all this section name, section text, and the questions. So it saves time because I do not have to compute embedding similarity. So it's all about efficiency. And because my laptop is not a powerhouse, so I need efficiency, so it just gives straight up 27. as long as you're asking section 27 or 27, but it cannot be like, you know, if you ask if you ask anything like 27 section, then it's going to be a little bothered because it's hard coded, right? So that's going to be a little bothersome. So you can just ask section 27 is just going to do this. Then if we fall back to the embedding similarity, it's going to do that, but it's going to take more time. So I just asked section 27 is just going to give straight up because of that hard coded thing. And you can just refresh it, and you can just have all this back again, and you can ask all sorts of questions. And this is my latest project. So also I would like to mention that I cannot deploy this because this has like total file size of 15 gigabytes. I tried Docker. Docker does not support, I mean, it does not happily support 15 gigabytes being uploaded. It's not meant for that stuff. And and that's, by the way, that's excluding these model weights. So these almost 9 gigabytes of model weights are not excluded, and it's still 15 gigabytes because of this CUDA PyTorch library, and it's expensive. So there's no free hosting platform currently where I can deploy this model because it just takes a lot of compute power. It needs a GPU, it needs a reasonable amount of RAM, and obviously not to mention the storage. So if you still want to run, you can just run it using my GitHub. Open the repo link, and here's this setup. You can download the model weights, put them into the folder like this. I've put them here. There's the model and model embedding. Put them into the folder, and the code auto detects them, and it runs. So clone this repo and clone this Google repo because that's what it's built on, Gemma 3. And then you just install all these dependencies, and these are heavy, by the way. So and then you just run the Streamlit application, and it's like just like that. So I hope you like it.